The IRS is changing language in the 2022 taxes. That's next. Hello, everyone. We have so much to go over today. IRS, as well as Do Kwon, as well as we know it's called the Wall Street Crocodile girl. We're going to go over her and a bunch of other different digital asset and NFT news. Welcome everyone to OG Crypto and NFTs. My name is Troy. And before we jump into this, let's go hit that like button, boom, boom, boom. And then right there, subscribe button, bing, 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 bing. All right, there's quite a lot to go over today. I want to jump right into it. We're going to fly through a bunch of things. First of all, this is in CoinDesk. It says IRS expands key U.S. tax language to include NFTs. This is very interesting. Now we're talking, they're changing it from digital currencies or virtual currencies to digital assets. So what they're trying to do is encompass everything. Now, they are behind the times, yes, a few years behind the times, but what they want to do is make sure they get all their taxes on all those gains out there. Unfortunately, in 2021, anyone that's jumped in has just seen losses after losses after losses. But I think they're setting this up, and I think this is one of the reasons why the Congress, and especially the Democrats, passed the 80,000 extra IRS agents is to go after people who have NFTs and digital assets. Next, CNBC, Crocodile of Wall Street. You know her. She was part of the Bitfinex. Well, she was arrested. Her and her husband, Dutch, was arrested over the Bitfinex heist of what, $3+ billion worth of Bitcoin. Well, that was what it's worth today. Back in 2016, when it was stolen, it was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but now it's worth a lot. Now, if we continue to watch the story unfold, we all know that in February they were arrested. And it was connected. She was a big TikToker, rapper, baller, goofy girl that was on there. She got arrested. Her husband got arrested in February. And now today we're starting to see more and more articles on them and how it actually came about. The US government actually has a significant amount of that Bitcoin, but we don't know exactly how much. And they are still in jail trying to figure out what's happened. I guess that, reading this article or listening to this article, they had purchased a few things off that wallet that was connected to the Bitfinex heist. I mean, just little things like a $500 Walmart gift card. They bought a few things here and there. So that's what got the FBI on their case, and the Department of Justice rolled up, and they have now, got them locked up. But Bitfinex is now coming out and saying, hey, we want that money back if that's directly connected. And so a lot of the people that lost their money in that heist is also really putting pressure on the Department of Justice about releasing the money, or at least labeling it for Bitfinex so they can actually get some of that money returned. We're going to see what happens in the future, but stay tuned. This is an article that's just updating us today. Next article, retail investors become vigilantes and hunt for crypto's most wanted man. Do Kwon keeps saying, hey, dude, I'm not on the run, but come and find me. Bullshit. Give me a break. It's stupid. Come on out, bro. If you're not scared, you be in the public. All right, next. Buffett-backed digital bank Nubank to launch its own cryptocurrency in Brazil. Again, we all laugh at Warren Buffett here. His so anti-rants, him and his partner, completely anti-rants on cryptocurrency, scams, they call it scum. They've called it everything. Yet, he's the one that has invested in Nubank, and Nubank continues to evolve around digital currencies. And now they're going to come out with their own digital currency. This just tells us that he actually is dabbling into crypto, but he's just not saying it. So he's not really pronouncing that it's going to come out. I'm a little disappointed in him. He was ahead of the curve on quite a lot of things when he was younger, but today he looks like he's a stubborn old man in his own ways, and he has now been losing since the beginning of the year in his fund. Next, JP Morgan appoints former Celcius executive as crypto regulator policy head. Oh my God, what is so wrong with this article in so many different fashions? Jamie Dimon came out 2 weeks ago and said, hey, Bitcoin and digital assets are a scam. He went off. He's been going off for a while. But what was really interesting last week was, Mr. Wonderful came out from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, and said, well, of course Jamie Dimon's saying that because Jamie Dimon has so much to lose if cryptocurrency is adopted, at least in the financial sector. He has a ton to lose. And so these are the reasons why a lot of conspiracy theorists have talked about why Ripple and XRP were actually sued by the SEC, saying it's a security. Yet Ethereum, who was probably the biggest security of all time when they went out at the very beginning, and there's a lot of whale wallets that were disguised at the time, as well as they went to the public, the general public, and pronounced out there to many, many people after they sold Ethereum at a much cheaper price, went to the public and sold it for a much higher price. And some of those whales made money right off the bat off of the general public. But that's not discussed. And even though, I think Bill Hemmon had said, hey, this was a security back in the day, but since it's sufficiently decentralized, back in 2018, it's no longer security. Well, guess what, Billy? When they went from proof of work to proof of stake, guess who holds the majority of crypto, of Ethereum? Yes, the US exchanges. It is centralized, bro. You gonna come out and say that? Of course not. Next article. Next two articles are Ripple, or XRP. Huge things that are happening here. The adoption of XRP and the expansion. Ripple begins testing XRP Ledger sidechain that's compatible with Ethereum smart contracts. This is the first of three parts of a three-part process that introduces, Ethereum virtual machine compatible sidechain. This will allow smart contracts to come onto RippleNet and Ripple Ledger so people can build like crazy. Now, I'm excited about this. I think a lot of people are excited about this because now we're looking at the expansion of what actual XRP Ledger is. It's not just about cross-border payments or land deeds or things like that. It's going to be about, building on the ledger through smart contracts, as well as just building on the ledger itself. So that's one of the two Ripple articles. The second one is the next 2 weeks are crucial for XLS amendment for native NFT support opens for voting. So what happens is once they get an 80% consensus from their validators, then it has to be locked in for 2 weeks. Once those 2 weeks are up, then they can switch over and upgrade the network, in which you'll be able to do NFTs or mint NFTs. And what I really like about Ripple is they have a $250,000 builder, $250 million builder incentive where they're handing out money to build on XRP and the XRP ledger. This is phenomenal. We're going to see adoption on XRP. There's gonna be so many other case uses. Again, than rather it being just a financial tool, it's going to be built on as be NFTs. Those NFTs hopefully will be connected. There'll be CBDCs. There'll be all kinds of things happening. It will be one of the most, I think, prosperous chains. I actually look at this, and I know that Brad Garlinghouse has said it, and I'm not saying anything new. They were Amazon when they only sold books, right? Now they're becoming Amazon as they continue to increase their product line. And then Amazon in 10 years is now a conglomerate that is just rolling every company up. This is just the beginning, guys. That's how I look at Ripple and NFTs. So Amazon NFT. NFL. So fantastic. All right. So let's get into Martin Scorsese. I'm going to bring in our popular and young lady producer, Emmy. How are you doing, producer Emmy?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, you have dressed up today.
Yeah, I'm dressed up today.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
So you're now the whole white is meshing into the white back here. It's pretty cool.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, here. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna be right
And there you go.
Here we go. Here I am.
So, I won't call you a Miss NFT because there is already somebody on Twitter called Miss NFT.
Oh, okay.
But I'm kind of liking that you're getting more and more excited about this this area. And we're not even talking about like your typical blue chip NFTs. We're talking about the adoption outside of that, those communities that are on Discord and on Twitter. And it's really has opened my mind, and I'm really excited when you're on.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing this, and it's kind of like it's like finding a whole new world you never realized existed. And seeing the adoption and all of the brands, conglomerates, companies that are jumping into this space is absolutely fascinating. And then to see the possibility of NFTs being the future of movie financing that's really interesting.
Right.
Because I think it really opens up the type of projects that could get made.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because what is it? 5 to 10% of the people know what an NFT is. I think another 25% actually heard of an NFT.
Yes, correct.
You know, and after that, the other 5% that actually know NFTs, only about 5% of them even know the adoption outside of that animal picture. I'm a flipper. I'm a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Communities.
Yeah.
So this is something completely different. It's a new use case. There's going to be 1,000 other use cases that we aren't even thought of right now, and they're still being thought of. Billion-dollar ideas. But I like that when this is brought up, it's brought up by a huge name. This is what's exciting about it. Do you have any more information on it?
So it looks like what they're mainly looking to do here is change the way that not only movies are financed, but the way the there's kind of like a monopoly on how the major Hollywood studios do things for movies. So they're looking to change that, like I said, through the financing, but also through production, as well as how the money would be distributed. So right here it says, Hollywood is facing a direct change from Web3 startups that are harnessing the power of blockchain tech, and the present situation may see a wave of disruption in how movies are financed, distributed, and shown. That's what I think the really important part of this article is. It goes into a lot more depth and detail, but this producer being connected to Martin Scorsese, looking to change how the finance side of movies, as well as the monopoly that a lot of the large studios have on this process, this could be a really big deal.
Right.
So, yeah.
So Web3, I mean, and many people want to say it's decentralized. I don't think it's going to actually really be decentralized. I think there's going to be always a centralization that's going to be involved, but it's a disruptive
big time
technology, right? And NFTs are going to be disruptive because NFT is minted once and here it is. And if you can utilize 1,000 NFTs and you can tell people, hey, I have a movie and I want to raise $10 million and I have 1,000 NFTs, people then can say, all right, each NFT is worth
XYZ, and this is how we're going
to
move forward.
So how many NFTs do you want to buy?
Yeah.
Versus having all these middlemen that are collecting fees and you know, agents and this and that. Now I'm going right to the point. You're going to buy the NFT, you're going to own maybe a you know, percentage of rights to that movie, as well as you're one of the funders.
Yeah, this is very cool. I'm super excited about this. But okay, we have a lot to cover, so let's keep it moving.
Okay. Project Azuki launches physical back token or PBT. Now this is very interesting. We go and look at every single week on Blue Chip Roundup, right, of Azuki, and we've seen just wild swings there. We know that at one point it was at 25, 30 ETH. Then one of the founders was caught in other projects that didn't go off very well. People felt cheated, so it swung real low, then it swung up high because then they raised millions of dollars, and now they're getting back into let's make ourselves more decentralized. Tell us about this physical back token.
Okay, so this is a very interesting concept that I felt like was kind of dense and takes a little bit of applying yourself to really like digest and understand, you know what I mean? So basically they're saying that they're looking to they intend to tie a physical item to a digital token on the Ethereum blockchain. And they're doing this with the physical backed token, EBT, an open source token standard that ties a physical item to a digital token on the Ethereum blockchain. So I feel like we still have a little bit of this to like possibly work out. Maybe it's just my understanding of the concept, but basically this PBT and the bean chip. So the bean chip is a physical part that will help you link these two things, and they become an asymmetric E pair. So the combination of those two introduces a feature that the project is calling scan to own.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's break this down. Now I'm assuming that there's 10,000 NFT pieces in this collection of Azuki. Now, does each one? And I'm asking it facetiously, not to you. I'm just asking this out loud to everybody. So, of those 10,000 pieces, and this is a very, very high blue chip, NFT community, right? Do you get mailed a bean chip? Because it's a physical piece they're talking about. So then I take that bean chip, and then how do I do? If I were to sell my Azuki and I were to scan it now, what I'm understanding here is it's all about centralization, decentralization. So if I go into OpenSea, that's centralization. I can just go into OpenSea and sell it. Right now, I can simply do it.
Yes.
But if I want to sell it, let's say off of a marketplace, then I would scan that bean and then I would give that bean chip to somebody else. And then was that through mail? Through
I don't.
Through what? I mean,
this isn't
overnight.
fully worked out. I don't feel like the way they're understanding it or the way they're explaining it at the moment.
And I haven't gone into their Discord and actually kind of seen what that bean chip had to do because I get it. They're saying and if we read this again, it's a physical, right? It's an open source token standard that ties a physical item, so it can't be virtual, physical. So that's what I'm saying is that a bean chip would be something that would be mailed to your house, but do you mail to the next person?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Or do you just get a bean chip and it's almost like a physical wallet add-on thing? I don't really get how this works yet.
Yeah, unless they use something virtual as physical.
Yeah.
I mean, they tied that in. So there's a lot that needs to be discussed. But again, the Azuki community is really changing things around. Though we're not really seeing a huge amount of opportunity in the price of Azuki, and I think obviously we're in a bear market, we're in an NFT bear market, we're in a world bear market, if I want to call it. They're doing a lot of things here, but hopefully they'll work out. I know that raising all that money probably keeps the project going strong for quite a while. Yeah. So that's
So we'll definitely report back on this as this develops and we get more understanding of how the physical process is. Okie dokie, our next article here.
Redditors or Reddit, Reddit people have created millions of crypto wallets to buy NFT avatars. We actually reported on this about a month and a half ago about these avatars.
Yes, we did. And this is interesting because they were saying the volume rivals that of OpenSea, which I thought was a very interesting tidbit part of this story.
Well, it's 40,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
And they're 30 different artists. And they range from $10 to $100.
There we go. Yeah, they're all sold out at the moment. And users who purchased one of the limited edition pics got licensing right to use it on and off Reddit as an avatar and could mix and match their avatar's look using the built-in avatar tool. So this is interesting. I think we're going to continue seeing a lot more stuff like this. Was it Facebook that you first made an avatar on, I believe?
Well, actually, I think avatars, that's where it began.
Yeah, I want to say it was Facebook. That's the first time I remember making something like that for myself.
Okay.
Or was it the keyboard messaging one where it would you'd make an avatar of yourself and it'd do all those silly little poses and you could send happy birthday or thank you or maybe it was that, maybe it was Apple. I don't remember if it was Facebook or Apple, but the way that it's grown is really interesting, and I think utilizing it with the platforms like Reddit or maybe your OpenSea account or whatever, it's kind of interesting, the possibilities, and I'm curious how this trend is going to keep growing.
Right. Well, look at this, 40,000 are sold off of Reddit. So you got to think that there's X amount of people that have not adopted nor feel that NFTs are something they want in their lives. Some say it's a scam, some say they don't understand it, so they don't want to deal with it. But 40,000. Reddit. So I know it's the younger generation are typically on Reddit, but I know a lot of younger generation that are very anti-NFT.
So I don't think this has to do with the NFT technology specifically. I think this trend is going to continue to grow because of two things. I was reading about how Coca-Cola implied the strategy of personalization in proximity.
Okay.
So when they launched their Have a Coke campaign, remember when they started putting all the names?
Okay.
They put random names on a Coke. They did it because a lot of the health food beverages were cutting into their market and they were struggling to keep up with people being so much more focused on health. So they used this concept of personalization and proximity, right? So
Okay.
a code is always around you. The proximity is close. Now that they personalize this code, it makes you want to like buy into it. So to me, it's really interesting to see how these, this is basically the same thing where you are able to personalize something that's in your close proximity and how it's going to carry this trend in these companies.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, next article here.
I think that's it.
Oh,
actually,
all right, that's it.
That's the creator
That
fund.
is where we are going to end today,
Right.
then, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. If you have any comments, leave them below. Other than that, you guys have a fantastic day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.